It's a 4-camera dash cam. Let's check this out. Dave Taylor here, and I'm checking out another dash cam. I really like dash cams, and what's interesting about the category is that all of the ones I've checked, none of them get everything right. They'll have one thing work really well, and something else will be really tedious or just not work. But this one gets really close, and it's super interesting. It's this. This is the AZDOME M350 4-channel 2K dash cam. And as you can see, it has 1, 2, 3 cameras on the front unit, plus, of course, a rear camera that you put on your back windshield or your back hatch or whatever, and a super long wire to run through your car to connect the two. There's a second wire that gives it power, and that is a 12-volt plug, also known as a cigarette plug, and you must have this. If you have a car that doesn't have this, you're not going to be able to use this, because even though it's USB-C coming into the dash cam, the company says it has to have a 12-volt plug. So FYI. One thing I'll point out real quick is it does have USB-A on the end, so if you already have a little cigarette lighter adapter to power a device, this is going to let you continue to do that and have the dash cam work. Now, it's a pretty interesting design. When I first got it, I thought, well, are you going to have both of these pointing into the cabin? So you're going to have this like super monitor, which would be great if I was an Uber driver or was a Lyft driver or something, because it would be beneficial to have a recording of what happens inside your vehicle. But in fact, the company made it designed so that you can point them forward or off to the sides, which is kind of what they recommend, or you can have one pointing off to the side and another one actually pointing into the cabin, whatever variation you want. Now, camera-wise, the front camera is easily the best. It is a 170-degree 2K camera. Both of the side cameras have a 150-degree field of view. And then the rear camera, which honestly I found the weak link on this device, is a 170-degree 1080p camera. And rather than go further talking about specs, let's look at some footage. So here, this is the front camera, and let's speed it up because, you know, watching me drive isn't super exciting, but speeding it up is kind of fun. Now, let's go through that same little bit of driving on the left camera, on the right camera, and then the rear camera. So as you can see, the rear camera is kind of the weak link. It's giving me the least crisp and the least detailed information, and where this gets dramatically different is when it becomes nighttime. And night is really hard for dash cams. It's really hard because there's just not a lot of light. Our eyes are really great at being able to adapt to brightness or more dim environments, but cameras, not so much, especially with video. So let's go, and what's going to happen in this video is I'm driving past a police car that's pulled over with its lights on to check out an accident. It's just after the red light, so let's watch that. And now let's look at that same footage from the right camera, the sort of angled camera. And then, this is going to be a shocker, let's look at the rear camera on that very same period. As you can see, you know, that front image is actually pretty good. It's good at night. I'd give it like a B and then an A for daytime. You know, again, as you can see here, it's really clean during the day, that front camera. It's a really nice sensor, but this rear camera, I don't know, it just sort of let me down. I really expected more given how good all the other cameras are. Now, I don't know, maybe it's placement. I'm not sure. I can't imagine that was the issue, but this is something where I know AZDOME has better rear-facing cameras, so maybe there's a variation on the M350 that gives you a better rear camera, but I found so much to like here except that rear camera. But we're not done. Now what I want to do is I want to show you the experience of using their app and connecting to the dash cam and then looking at the different camera views, and then grabbing some videos, and then I'll show you a couple of the settings. As you can see, this isn't the first AZDOME dash cam that I've reviewed, but we're looking at the M350, so I'm going to tap on it, and hopefully it will connect. It's a little tricky to have my phone figure out whether it should stick with the CarPlay Wi-Fi of my vehicle or go to the dash cam. So sometimes I find I have to go into settings and force it. So give me a second. And we're connected. So you can see, most importantly, the live view out the front, and I can make that larger. I'll have to rotate my phone, but this gives you a good sense. I'm on a little side road, and it is a crystal clear image. So let's go back, and I can switch cameras, and this gets a little confusing because there are a lot of choices. So let's go to all, and now expand it out, and you can see that there's a lot going on here. So the top left is the front view, and the top right is the rear view, and then the lower ones are the left and right front side cameras. So this is a very quiet road. I don't expect to see any vehicles coming towards me, but as you can see, it's pretty easy, and I can take snapshots and so on. But where this gets fun, obviously, is when you can access previous recordings. So I'm going to stop my recording, and then I'm going to tap on playback, and it will show me that there's only video content. I haven't done anything else, and I can pick and choose individual snippets. So let's see, look at this one. And so
nobody except Mordecai. We spent a solid 10 minutes straight swearing at us over chat because we'd activated the guard's aggro.
To, but that is
Ricky Joe sat cross-legged on the roof, sullenly clutching onto the end of his severed limb, twice eaten corpse of his pet salamander.
I want to actually download.
He'd screamed bloody.
Download all the ones that are around it. And I wish there was a better way to do this, but you just have to be eagle-eyed and look at the little timestamps. So that was here. So 8:31, I'm sorry, 8:51, 8:51, 8:51, and 8:51, because there are 4 cameras. And now I'm going to just tap on the lower left, and you can see how fast it downloads. It's not bad. And this is good quality video, as you'll see. Well, I'm not going to make you sit through all of this, so we'll just jump forward to when they've all been downloaded. They've all been downloaded to my phone gallery, which is great. So now it'll restart the recording. I want to tap on the gear icon on the top right. And, oh, I have to stop recording first. All right. Well, we'll stop recording and then go here. And this gives you access to all of the different settings on the dash cam, including things like video resolution. Obviously, not a lot of choices there. You can turn on or off sound. You can choose the duration of your looping. I set it to 2-minute segments because they're small enough to download easily and long enough that it's not super annoying to have thousands of videos after a long drive. System setting, you can reformat the SD card, you can check firmware. So there are a fair number of things you can adjust. I would definitely recommend you make sure that it's in your preferred speed unit. But a lot of this, there isn't anything you need to do. So that is easy. So I'm going to go back, and I just want to show you a truck is driving past. So you can see all the different cameras come into play there. So that's pretty fun. There is more you can do here, but that's the sort of primary features. And once you've wrestled with getting the Wi-Fi to work, not having it be taken over by CarPlay or Android Auto, then it is pretty darn easy to work with. So let me jump back on camera. One thing I also appreciate is it includes a 64 gig micro SD or TF card, and that is really helpful because you can just start right out with the card in the dash cam. In fact, it comes installed, so you can just turn it on, plug it in, and go. And I think that's really great rather than pulling it out of the box, getting it all set up, and then having a little display on the screen saying, you need a micro SD card so you can store video footage. So they've got that covered. Now, on the back of this, there is a 3.19-inch color screen, and underneath there are 5 buttons so you can interact with the device directly, but the smart money is on using their voice controls, and that's what I really like. If nothing else, I really appreciate being able to say Wi-Fi on and then hear a little ding and know that I'm ready to connect, than, you know, trying to fiddle with all those buttons on it while it's stuck to my windshield. So lots cool there. It also is Find My compatible with your phone. So that means this also adds a tracker to your car, which is pretty handy if you forget where you parked, or if it wanders off, then you would be able to figure out where it is. That's helpful. Built-in GPS includes speed. You saw that on the video footage at the bottom. So it gave lat long, which you can just feed into like Google Maps and it'll show you exactly where that spot was. And let's see, there's a parking mode. And this is something I found annoying too. So there's a parking mode on this that's designed if you hardwire the device. But on the Jeep Cherokee I've been driving, it actually doesn't turn off the 12-volt plug when you turn off the car. So it's essentially a hardwired connection. It's always on. And this thing, even though I had parking mode off, continued to record when the car was parked. And what that meant practically is that I had hours and hours of footage of literally nothing changing. So that seems like something where maybe it's a problem with my car, but if I turn off parking mode, I don't expect it to continue recording. This might be something where it uses its G sensor so it can figure out, oh, you haven't moved for 5 minutes. I'm going to assume you're parked. And then it would say, do you have parking mode enabled or time lapse? There's a couple of different parking modes. You know, yes, you do. Well, then I'm going to keep recording. Or it would say, oh, you've turned off parking mode. I haven't moved in 5 minutes. I'm going to disable recording until you start moving again. Now, there are some nuances to that, but that's all stuff that should be exposed to us in the settings so we can fine-tune the experience we want. So that's pretty much everything. It does use a 5G connection for the Wi-Fi, which is why those downloads were pretty snappy, actually. I'll tell you, I've used that sort of thing before with dash cams, and it's just excruciatingly slow. This one did pretty well, but you could always pop out the micro SD and plug it directly into your computer, which ultimately is what I ended up doing, because then you can go through hours of footage in just a couple of seconds. Way more convenient than trying to do it on your phone. But if you don't want to, and you don't want to monkey with this, you can just put it in the right place, angle the cameras however you want, or even have them pointing into the cabin, and just get on with it. So to me, the ideal dash cam is one where I don't have to pay attention to it. It just records everything. And if something happens, or I get into an accident or something, then I have the recording. But otherwise, I'm just going to ignore it because I want to focus on driving or focus on where I'm heading to or whatever I just did. So, you know, there's a lot to like here. My biggest disappointment was that rear camera, particularly night view. I thought that was pretty underpowered at best, but everything else looked really cool. I really liked the footage. I thought the interface with the phone was pretty easy. It would be nice to be able to say, pick a time and have it automatically pick all 4 videos for that time slot or something. That'd be a really nice addition. But really, the biggest challenge I had with this was because of the Jeep that I'm driving, is that it went into like automatic parking mode and just hours and hours and like hundreds of little video snippets were just of the car sitting in a parking lot. So really boring. Anyway, that's what I got. I'm going to just, I'm straight and candid with you so you can assess, is this going to be the one for you? Depending on what you need, this might be a great dash cam. I will say AZDOME has a really nice lineup of reviewed other dash cams from them. So there's lots to like here. And that's pretty much what I have. I think, think about what you need for your car. It might be just one camera just pointing in the front, or it might be as far as this with cameras pointing everywhere and capturing everything going on around you, which is appealing too. So that's what I got. We do need to talk about the price. Before we get there, I am going to invite you to subscribe to my channel. Click or tap on that subscribe button. Hit that bell icon for notifications of my new content. And please give me a thumbs up if you found this of value. Cool. All right. This, with all this other stuff, other than my phone, obviously, is the AZDOME M350 4-channel 2K dash cam, and it is $239.99, currently discounted down to $191.99 at Amazon.com. For under $200, this is a pretty solid choice with a lot of great capabilities. Would I like to see AZDOME update the rear camera to give me better quality? Heck yeah. That's just a sensor issue, but that might add to the price. So, they've got this figured out for what they see as the customer. And for the most part, I think they got it dialed in. So that's what I got. I'm going to hook it back up to my Jeep Cherokee, which means I'll have to catch you in my next video.